Welcome to the ACC Panic Room alongside Lauren Brownlow. I'm Joe Ovies. The Demon Deacons got the better of NC State in the Disrespect Bowl, Winston-Salem. There's something about Winston-Salem, and we talked about this all season as things were leading up to what we all thought was going to be a crucial game for both programs on Saturday. And the one thing that I always kept coming back to was great NC State teams have gone to Winston-Salem and lost, and this was shaping up to be another one of those. And sure enough, it ended up being a really weird game where NC State would like to have a couple of things back, and they'll probably just be replaying the what-if scenarios right down to an onside kick where if you're just a half a second later, if there's better camera angles at BB&T Field or Truist Field or whatever the heck it's called now, if there was just better camera angles, maybe that thing gets overturned. But here we are.
Maybe, or also, I don't know, like maybe if you're playing at a time where there weren't any reviews at all, then it just would have, like if they had to make a call in the field, I think they probably would have called it that. I don't know, it's tough to say.
There was a call on the field. That's the thing. There was a call on the field for it. That's probably going to drive State fan nuts because there was a call for on the field for that to be.
It was weird all night. I feel like in that way where it was like even the fumble early in the game, it was like one ref said it was, one ref said it wasn't. It was incomplete pass. One ref said it was a fumble. And I'm like, so what is the actual ruling here that you're reviewing? Like, it was not always super clear on that.
Yeah, you're right. It was a weird game. So we had it was a sloppy game. Lots of penalties for NC State. Double-digit penalties was not something they've done a lot this year. Wake Forest got back to playing cleaner football, which was out of character in the North Carolina
the penalties, right. The penalties that they had in this game were nothing like the penalties they were getting against North Carolina.
It was not a clean game for Devin Leary, who has been relatively turnover-free all season long, to the point where people have been wanting to point out, hey, Devin Leary's having quietly a really great season. And my argument has always been that NC State's issue right now is that they have these slow starts. The running game can't get going. They had an opportunity against a Wake defense that can be run on, but they couldn't do it. And while they did have a slow start, you could see where the plays in bunches were coming for NC State. It was playing out very much like an NC State game we've seen in the past. And I thought when Bam Knight had the kickoff return that was the catapult for what we've seen at NC State so far. But this is where Wake, I don't want to oversimplify, Wake made third downs. NC State couldn't offensively, and they also couldn't get off the field defensively. And a lot of that was also their own mistakes through penalties. And that was the ball game. You take 6 minutes off the clock and score a touchdown. That was more damaging than 7 points.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can certainly be annoyed with the defense for the third down defense, right? And the mistakes that were made there from NC State side. But I will say this. I mean, and you know, I was being it was about to go on Old Takes Exposed for a hot minute there, but like NC State's offense for much of the first half, I'm just like, hi, are you guys okay? Is this thing on? Like, and I know that they're banged up at the running back spot. I know Bam Knight was playing hurt anyway. I know Ricky Person was dealing with an illness. They talked about that on the broadcast. But really all year long, this has been a trend with NC State. It's weird. When I watch North Carolina's offense play, half the time I'm like, and then I go look at the rankings, right? Like in yards per play offensively. I go look at the national rankings. I'm like, I wouldn't have thought North Carolina was that high. With State, it's the opposite. You know, it's like they've got there's nothing I can point to that goes, this shouldn't work. This shouldn't work well based on their personnel or like who they've got back or whatever. And it's just like, meh. You know, for the most part. And it makes no sense to me. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me why, they couldn't do anything against that Wake defense. Yeah, I know Wake's like excited and it's early in the game and whatever, and Wake wants to prove a point. But this isn't just a this week thing. Like, this has been a thing NC State's offense has been dealing with for a while. And how often have we seen this year that the defense has had to keep them in games early while the offense just sort of, messes around for and usually they don't turn it over, which has helped them. And obviously
that's the key.
But they traded turnovers with Wake, so it almost kind of canceled out. It was the weirdest thing. It was just like, you get a pick, now you get a pick. So
That's why I get back to it being an uncharacteristic game for Devin Leary, because they haven't turned the ball over a lot. You're right about the defense having to do a lot for this NC State team, but the defense has been rewarded because NC State's offense has eventually
gotten
chunk plays. big chunk plays that break games open. That's been the consistency, and that's what's kept them in these games. But
Yeah.
yeah, you turn the ball over and you negate what has been a downward turn for Sam Hartman, the Wake Forest quarterback, over the last couple of weeks. You can't. It's funny, and this gets back to the weird game aspect of it. You got like 2 ejections, right? For targeting. Sam Hartman throws 3 picks, but then you also how'd you put up 45 points, right? So it was just a weird game all around, which I would expect nothing less out of Wake Forest and NC State at this point.
You know that this reference pains me, but he looked like an average Paul Johnson option quarterback half the time with his accuracy. Like his accuracy numbers did. His accuracy, he was passing like 33% there for a hot minute. I'm just saying. I was clear to say an average Paul Johnson option quarterback. But I'm just saying, like, the passing percentage numbers wise. Like, I'm just like, and I know I saw this on Twitter too. I know that people are like, give State's defense some credit. Of course we should give them some credit. They're a good defense. But at the same time, in the first half, he was out there like bounce passing it. And you're like, and obviously his receivers didn't always come through for him. But I would credit, honestly, there was some of that I would credit to State's defense for sure. Like I saw some people say, so-and-so has to come down with that catch. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think that guy knocked it out. Like, I don't know. So, it's a mix. It can be both, guys.
So going forward, the season's not over. I think that's an important thing. I mean, mathematically it's not over, and some things have to happen that would be pretty wild, but it's not over. I don't think
it would be that wild.
And it's college football, and it's the ACC, where nobody has separated themselves. I know Wake Forest looks like they've separated themselves, but Wake Forest under Dave Clawson has had issues in the past as seasons have progressed, and because of lack of depth, things have kind of faded for them, which was another reason why yesterday's win was really impressive, because when you get into this time of November, Wake Forest ends up being a little bit of a different team for a variety of reasons.
That's a tough physical game, and now they got to go play Clemson.
It was, and Clemson will not go away.
No.
I've referred to Clemson as a zombie team in the ACC because I think most people wrote them off at the beginning of the year because they're simply not college football playoff contenders. And it's been rolled into a larger narrative about the state of the ACC. And because Clemson's not at their level under Dabo, which we've gotten accustomed to, we don't discuss them, really. But they've been hanging around. They're lurking, right? You can make any number. There's like a wrestling meme. I forgot which one it is, but it's like a happy Hardy Boy, and there's like somebody behind him, like waiting for him. That's Clemson right now, and Wake Forest takes them on next. So here's where things stand. Right, it's as simple as this: NC State can still win the Atlantic Division if they win out. Win your next 2 games, including the Carolina game at the end of the season on Black Friday, but in order for NC State to win the Atlantic, they have to win out, and Wake Forest has to lose their next 2 games, which is entirely possible.
That's the thing.
As
like
we discussed with Clemson, they're not going away. That's a tough defense. We'll see how that goes. And then playing Boston College is not an easy thing.
No.
So I'm not. You're right. It's not crazy, but it still is a lot for things. A lot of things have to happen over the next 2 weeks.
For sure, but I think like when you look at what Wake has left, both games on the road. What?
Did I lose you?
What?
Wait a minute. Uh-oh.
What?
I can't hear you.
What do you mean? Like right now you can't hear me? Hello?
Keep talking. I'll edit it.
Okay.
I'll get my headphones back. I don't know what happened.
But yeah, Phil Dracovic is back for Boston College. That is a big deal for them. Like, it's very easy to imagine a scenario where Wake could lose out. I think certainly at least losing at Clemson is a thing that could happen. And then, State will know that before they play Carolina. And Syracuse looked like absolute trash yesterday. So that shouldn't be an issue for State. In theory, they got both games at home. Carolina's been trash on the road all year. Like, it's pretty conceivable that they could get right back in this thing, but we'll see.
We're just going to have to end this, and we'll do it again. Bye.
Oh.